This video demonstrates taking an 8-hour process and turning it into a 2-minute process. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and open up the file, and this file represents pipeline transportation data, and our task is to take about 7,300 lines of data, apply account coding to it, and then create a CSV file for loading into the Lawson financial system. And first of all, I'll just explain what the lady was doing before automation. She was getting data into the spreadsheet, and I mentioned earlier about 7,300 lines, and there they are. She's getting data into the spreadsheet, and then she was applying account coding to that data, and she wanted to know how that should be coded from a credit perspective, from a debit perspective, and this was the part that was taking her the longest because she was physically sorting, segregating, and then applying coding to the data, taking it to Access to be able to sum it up into its summation lines, and then bringing it back into Excel and then putting it through a program to turn it into a CSV file. It took quite a long time, on any given month about 6 to 8 hours. So what I did is I looked at the source of the data, from where was she getting the data, basically got in her mind and said, how are you applying that account coding? And from that we built this account coding cross-reference, which took the different pieces of the different types of contract information we had here. From that we built a credit coding cross-reference and then a debit coding cross-reference out here in the red, and looked like we came up with about 116 different cross-reference scenarios, and we were able to use that to form basically do VLOOKUPs. So now I'm going to go ahead and get started. First thing she would do is come in here and change the date to the new month, so I'll change that to the June of 2007. She would highlight this SQL statement, execute it against the appropriate database, and by doing this we're drawing new data into this 3211 tab, and then so it's in here now. Then she would go out here just a second to show you that we don't have any cross-referencing information out here. So we wrote some VBA code to go ahead and look at this coding reference table to bring in what the debit and credit coding for the accounting system should be. It'll finish in just a minute. Okay, this message reads that items not found will be sorted to the top. That makes it easy for us to know that we should add more items to our account coding cross-reference. Now that we have our 7,300 lines of debit and credit information, we need to sum those up because we don't want to be booking 7,300 lines of the general ledger if we can get away with not having to. And so now it's going through and adding up the debits and credits, and I dumped that off onto this sum page. You can see it added up into 55 data lines, and now it's sitting here on the voucher copy page, and this is essentially the template that I built for allowing us to do uploads into the Lawson general ledger. One of our final steps would have been to run this routine which creates the CSV file. Now I can go out here and run Notepad and open up that CSV file to show you what that looks like. You just need to look at all files, pop it open here, and so that's the file that it built. So you can see that just in a matter of a couple of minutes we were able to take those 7,300 data lines, prepare them for Lawson, and we're ready to basically get into Lawson and bring those in. If you have any processes that you think might be right for automation, write me. I'm Steven at thedatawizard.com.